Alright everybody, how are we doing today? Time to discuss another Far Eastern nation. This one is arguably just as disgusting as China, if not more. North Korea warns, this is from Reuters, by the way, it says, North Korea warns UN Security Council against discussing country's human rights. United Nations, Reuters, North Korea told the United Nations Security Council on Wednesday that it would consider any discussion of the country's human rights situation a serious provocation, and Pyongyang would respond strongly. North Korea's UN Ambassador Kim Song delivered the warning in a letter which was seen by Reuters. Diplomats said several members of the 15-member council planned to request a meeting this month on human rights abuses in North Korea. North Korea. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and U.S. President Donald Trump have met 3 times since June last year in a bid to broker a deal that Washington hopes will lead to North Korea dismantling its nuclear and missile programs. But no progress had been made, and Pyongyang has carried out a series of short-range ballistic missile tests. The United States is president of the Security Council for December. Kim Song wrote that any meeting on human rights would be an act of conniving at inciting with the United States' hostile policy, which will lead to undermining rather than helping reduction of tensions on the Korean Peninsula and resolution of the nuclear issue. A minimum 9 council members need to report a request for the meeting in order to defeat any attempt to block it. Between 2014 and 2017, China failed to stop the annual discussion. Last year, the United States dropped a push for the council to meet on human rights because it did not have enough support. Diplomats said that they could have tried again in January when 5 new members rotated onto the council, but they did not. North Korea has repeatedly rejected accusations of human rights abuses and blames sanctions for a dire humanitarian situation. It demands they be removed. Pyongyang has been under UN sanctions since 2006 over its ballistic missiles and nuclear programs. It seems to me that North Korea can't be trusted. We've made measures to make sure that they would dismantle or shut down their programs, and they have not done it. Oh, sure, they can make the excuse that the United States is pressuring them and bullying them, which to an extent is actually true. Mike Pompeo has absolutely ruined meetings over there. But how much of that can honestly be blamed on the United States? Some of that has to be on North Korea. I don't think they have any actual intention of giving up on their programs, and it's all just a bunch of nonsense. But, going forward, if the Security Council would push through the meeting on human rights issue of the DPRK, the situation on the Korean Peninsula would take a turn for the worse again, the letter said. North Korea has given Washington until the end of the year to show more flexibility in talks, raising concerns among some diplomats that it could next year resume nuclear and long-range missile testing that has been suspended since 2017. Trump has repeatedly held up the suspension of tests as a major achievement of his engagement with North Korea. A 2014 UN report on North Korean human rights concluded that North Korean security chiefs and possible leader Kim himself should face justice for overseeing a state-controlled system of Nazi-style atrocities. It's true, the work camps in North Korea, both for criminals and POWs, have been reported to be like hell on earth. The Chinese re-education camps, while extremely manipulative, are arguably nicer in comparison. None of these communist nations are worth living in or allowing to exist even. Why is it that communism always turns into some horrible hell-on-earth type situation? Why is that? Because of authoritarianism. That's why. Because it's a far-left economic system that inevitably becomes authoritarian in nature. Always happens, every time. And that's why it becomes hell. As for Trump, well, he holds up his the fact that he got that suspension going as a great success of his administration, and I honestly have to agree. While his foreign policy overall is not something that I can say with any certainty, that it was in any way beneficial. It seems pretty much all negative from where I'm standing. He might have done good on the Syrian back out of Syria, or on this suspension thing, but overall he's just gone around bullying other nations with sanctions and tariffs coming out every orifice and out the wazoo, and he thinks that they're just going to bend the knee to his pressure. No! When has that ever happened in the history of ever? Where either sanctions and or tariffs have ever achieved that. where they would just bend the knee. When has that ever happened? It's pure idiocy. When he puts away the ridiculousness of maximum pressure, and he puts away the violence and actually tries diplomacy, oh, surprise, surprise, he makes actual progress. You'd think that would teach him something. That diplomacy wins the day, Mr. President. Talk to them. Don't harass them. Don't attack their nation or their military. Talk to them. Unless they provoke you first, do not molest. Period. That is a far greater platform for talking things out. At least Obama understood that much. Anyway, peace.